it's Nye. I'm here to share with you an easy recipe for pie day. Exciting. This is actually part of my stunt recipe series, and what stunt recipes are is little effort, maximum payoff. This recipe is actually a dough recipe for like pie crusts. I swear by this. You can do pretty much anything to it and it's foolproof. I actually call this, for reverse psychology reasons, the worst pie crust ever. It's actually, seriously, the best pie crust. It's flaky, it's savory, it works well with sweet things. I'm going to show you my take on this recipe, on a pie crust recipe, but it really is phenomenal. Okay, to start off with this pie crust recipe, you're going to actually take 3.5 cups of all-purpose flour. To the flour, you're going to add half a teaspoon of salt, and I like to mix this together just so that the salt is incorporated. And then to it, you're going to add 1.5 cups of vegetable shortening. Ooh. And you're going to mix this around until it becomes like breadcrumbs. Sometimes it's just better with your hands. And I just pinch it and sort of like go like that to it, so it works the flour into the shortening. Okay, so then it turns into this sort of breadcrumb consistency. You want to make sure all the big bits of shortening is blended, and then it'll start clumping in your hand like that, which is a good sign. You don't want pockets of like just straight up flour. Then you're going to add an egg, and you're going to fluff this up. And then add to it, really messy hands, to equal 3/4 cup. Oh, it's a little too much. Okay, perfect. You're going to add the milk to the egg to reach 3/4 cups of liquid. So if it's a larger egg, it's whatever, it makes sense. And then add it to your mixture. Let it sink in a little bit before you start stirring, and then just really just toss it, and it'll start creating dough. You don't want to over mix this or it'll work on the gluten in the flour, and then that ends up with a dough crust. It's almost ready. Super easy. Like magic. You can either stop and use this dough as is, but I like playing with it a little bit more. It gives it a better, even like you saw how much effort that was to make this dough. Like, it was nothing, right? If you want to push it up to ninja level, put in cheddar cheese. Put in as much as you want. You can, like I said, you use this for sweet and also savory, but this in the crust of a sweet filling is amazing. Like, it's so good with apple pies. It's really good with cherry pies, and it's great with pot pie. It's like the best. just adding cheese to this makes it like I said, ninja level. Okay, so that's enough cheese. You don't want to overdo it. I would have to say this is about a half a cup of cheddar cheese. And you want good cheddar cheese, you don't want crap stuff. And you're just, again, going to push it through the dough. Mmm, smells amazing. So that's pretty much it. This is the dough. And you can do anything to it. I would recommend having this in, you can break this up. This keeps in the refrigerator for about like a week. It doesn't usually last that long. It'll do a couple doughs. So for this one recipe, oops, sorry, you could do 3 pies that don't have a lid, or you could do, well, depending on the size of the pie. Like for this one, I'm gonna probably do 1 dough with no lid and then like a actual covered pie. What we're gonna do is we're gonna roll out our dough to fit our pie pan. And so I'm gonna do that really quickly and then we'll go from there. Alright, so our pie crust is definitely, like, that's the thing. It's so easy to do. So, even to roll out this pie crust is so easy. So, you're just going to roll it up onto your pin. And then place it into your crust, your pie, whatever this is called. And then once you have it rolled up onto your pin, you're gonna roll it over the pie pan. And off. And it'll look kind of like this. And then you're just gonna slowly bring it in. You're gonna preheat your oven to about 400. And once it's put in there, you'll want to do 2 things. Now that your pie is all shaped up and ready to go, it looks lovely, I'm going to actually trim the sides just so it's neat. Now you can crimp the edges or you can just leave as is. And then you're going to put your pie weights. You can either use these ones here, which is ceramic pie weights, or you can do like beans, like a dried bean, but make sure you only use it for this. And that's pretty much it. You put these in there, and what happens is, because of the egg, it's going to actually, the dough is going to actually start to rise, and you don't want a bubbly bottom because we're going to fill it and not bake it after we put the filling in. So you want to actually have this weighted down so it remains nice and flat along the bottom and your filling goes in easier. So we're going to bake this for about 15 to 20 minutes until it's golden brown and cooked all the way through. It doesn't take long, but again, you want to make sure that it's done correctly. The pie crust is all cooked up. You can see, ooh, you can see how it's like really nice and brown. It's like a normal pie crust like that. What you're gonna let this do is cool all the way down. And what's nice about those weights is, again, it's not bubbled on the bottom, which is really awesome. And you can see like the cheese from the dough, just like adding fun stuff. All right. what you'll need is 3/4 cups of sugar. I did a mix of brown sugar and regular caster sugar. I think brown sugar will go really well with our cherries. And then you're going to need 4 tablespoons of cornstarch. Around like 5 or 6 cups of cherries or any other fresh fruit you want. And you're actually going to divide that in about half. So you're going to need 1/4 cup of water. And you're going to add the 1/4 cup of water and the cornstarch to this saucepan. You're going to want to make sure that you're going to stir this until the cornstarch is completely incorporated into the water, because you don't want clumps. And you want to do this in a cold pan. Because if you put cornstarch and water onto heat, it's going to start to congeal really fast. So now you have this slurry that you're going to add 1/8 of a teaspoon of salt, that's good, 1/8 of a teaspoon of salt, and you're going to add about a cup of cherries, and that looks about right. You're going to add this onto the heat. Because of the cornstarch in there, you don't want to get it too high too fast. You're going to start low and then gradually get higher. Now you're going to add the sugar. Okay, so this has turned into literally a jelly. The sugar and the corn syrup have sort of seized, which is exactly what we want. Now we're going to add a tablespoon of butter and a tablespoon of lemon juice. Shoot, no seeds, please. No. There we go. Fresh is best. Sometimes if I don't have lemon juice, I actually add marmalade. Like last time I made it, I didn't, and I added marmalade. And you know, it's like, that was with a blueberry pie. So it really is, like a citrus adds a brightness. Okay, so stir until the butter is completely dissolved into it. Go, go, go. And then you're left with this beautiful shiny glop, essentially. What you're going to end up doing is you're going to mix the glop with your uncooked cherries. And stir. Growing up, I was never a big fruit pie fan, and it wasn't until I learned this method that I actually started enjoying fruit pies. Fruit pies, I don't like cooked fruit flavor in pies. Like, I don't like the cooked fruitness of pies, but this is so easy. An idiot can do it. All right, so yummy, yummy. You're going to take your cooked pie. Let me move this out of the way. You're going to take your cooked pie and you're going to place this in it. And push it down and call it a day. You can either leave it like this, right? You could do I guess you could do a crumb topping and broil it. What I like to do is, you know, the dough, you cut off the edges once before you put it in the oven. I cut off the edges and it gave me some leftover dough. So what I did is I rolled out the dough again and I did a little cookie cutter heart shape, and then I did cheese on top. And I'm going to place these around. And you end up with this like cute country looking, it's perfect. This is going to set in the fridge for at least 2 hours. And then it'll, like, again, it'll congeal with the cornstarch and the sugar. It'll congeal with all the other liquid. Then you're ready to eat it. It's really, really easy. There's a couple steps, but they're all easy steps. Foolproof. An idiot can do it. So easy. And it really is the best pie recipe I've ever tried, so try it out. Happy Pie Day. I'll see you later. Bye. Oh, I am my mother's daughter. As you can see my mess here. I've used every pan, as she does. She's taught me well. Now I have about an hour of cleanup time.